Hello everyone, welcome to NZEduBytes by New Zealand Gateway, where we bringing to you the top New Zealand universities on and having this conversation with them. Today we have a very special guest with us, Dr. Rajesh Dhakal, and he is from the Department of Civil Engineering at the University of Canterbury. He is the head of department for the department, and he's been with the University of Canterbury for over 23 years. And it's been an absolute pleasure for us to have him here today. We'll be talking a bit about University of Canterbury, particularly his department, which is Civil Engineering Department, and what sort of courses they are offering. What's their ranking like? What is it to study master's or a bachelor's degree qualification in his department? And we're going to talk a lot more about the post-study work opportunities that are available on completion of this course. And most importantly, his experience will be very beneficial for us today. So let's dive right in and start the conversation with Dr. Rajesh. Dr. Rajesh, welcome to the NZEduBytes by New Zealand Gateway. It's been an honor to have you here today.
Oh, thank you very much for having me here, and I will be happy to share, my experiences and my opinion on civil engineering career and qualifications that we offer at University of Canterbury to our listeners. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. So let's just start by understanding your journey, Dr. Rajesh. So how did you, come to New Zealand, and what has been your experience so far? If you could just run us briefly through that.
Oh, thank you. Look, I was born and brought up in Nepal, which has got a similar sort of upbringing, natural, education system and everything, a lot of similarity with what students go through in India. But after my undergraduate degree in Nepal and from Tribhuvan University, I went to Thailand, Asian Institute of Technology for a master's degree, and then Japan for a PhD in University of Tokyo. And then I was working in Singapore for as a research fellow for more than 2 years when I got the job to join as a lecturer at University of Canterbury, and that's what brought me there. So in early 2003, I started there, and till now, I'm still there. I'm currently the head of Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering Department at University of Canterbury.
Right. Wonderful. So, Professor, why did you choose University of Canterbury, and what makes University of Canterbury so special for you and for our students as well who are aspiring to study civil engineering degree from be it New Zealand, be it Australia, or any other country? So I want to understand from you that what makes University of Canterbury stand apart here from the rest.
Now look, I think first I would provide my perspective because I am a structural earthquake engineer. That's what my field is. And Canterbury University has been one of the top places in the whole world. I'm not talking about top 100 or something. I'm talking about the top 2, 3. That's how highly it was regarded, and it is regarded because there have been some, prominent professors in the past, Professor Bob Park and Professor Tom Poley, who invented a lot of earthquake-resistant technologies and theories that had shaped the earthquake-resistant design of buildings throughout the world. Even now, a lot of codes and standards worldwide in US, for example, in Japan, in New Zealand, even in India, they are inspired by the theories and technologies, principles that they developed. And I was always following their textbooks, which are followed in all top universities for reinforced concrete seismic design courses. No wonder, when I got that opportunity, I grabbed it with both hands and went there without any doubt. Now, for other students, like potential students in future who want to come to University of Canterbury, one thing that sets us apart from the rest is actually our top quality, international standing. So civil engineering, in terms of subject, we are ranked in the top 150 in the world. But if you zoom into different sub-disciplines that we teach inside the department, some of the subjects actually where we are ranked very, very high, although there is no official ranking for those narrow areas. All the top researchers in the world, they know where we stand. So the other thing is actually, because if you look at the department, we have got academics and researchers who are top in their field globally. Every year, Stanford University publishes a list of top 2% researchers in the world. And our staff have consistently featured in that list. And this year, the latest one is 8 of our staff in the department. I'm not talking about the university. In one small department, the civil engineering department, 8 of our staff feature in that top 2% globally. And one of them is top 0.1%. Another one, like I'm sitting in front of you, I'm listed in top 0.5% in the world. So it is like those students will be getting education from world leaders, from the top research.
So the top voices of their industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what sets us apart from the rest.
Great. So we talked about the ranking bit of it. I wanted to understand from you, how does studying and graduating from a top ranked university equate to a good professional career? Is it interlinked? Or because sometimes we hear that students don't necessarily have to study from a top university, but it needs to be the right fit university. No, so there's a lot of confusion between students at times whether you should go for a top ranked university or the right fit university. Yes. Right? So based on your opinion and your extensive experience over the years, do you think there is a direct correlation between the university you graduated from and the type of job that you get? It's not related and it's all based on your skills. How does that work?
So it's somewhere in the middle, actually, because your skill set, your personality does play a part. But of course, the qualification and the place you get that qualification also has a major effect on what kind of career you'll end up having. And in New Zealand's context, I think in engineering, when it comes to civil engineering, the University of Canterbury is regarded right at the top, among the top in the country, and by the local employers. So in terms of the career that you can have, there is no bound or no restriction on where you can fly and what kind of opportunities that you can grab with the University of Canterbury qualification. So by nature, because civil engineering is very broad, you can have transport engineering, construction management, structures, earthquakes, environment, water resources, renewable energy. So all these things come and combine together, we come up with a curriculum on civil engineering. And at the undergraduate level, it is more structured with fundamentals and preparing the students for a very nice launch to their career as a civil engineer with an opportunity to specialize a little bit. But when they go to postgraduate, they had got options to specialize further, dig deeper, and call themselves an expert in a particular smaller area. So it is a mix. I think in Canterbury, with the degree that we offer at undergraduate and postgraduate, you will have no restrictions in terms of like where you can work in what kind of jobs.
So it obviously adds an advantage, right? If you've graduated from a top kind university and you have the right skills and the right attitude and right approach, it's just like the cherry on top, or is the cake itself. Yeah.
No, because like one thing is, before like your personalities play a part, actually your qualification has to be recognized, and then only you'll get the chance to interview with the employer to show your cherry on the cake. And in that sense, like our undergraduate degree is Washington accredited, so it has got international acknowledgement and recognition. So several of our students actually end up going overseas. What is not uncommon in New Zealand is they call OE, overseas experience. And with our degree, they go overseas in UK, Europe, North America. And those who want to stay in New Zealand, smaller portion want to go for higher studies. But otherwise, actually, they go for author. Absolutely. Start employment with consultancy, like the contractors, planners, go as a generic civil engineer in local and regional governments, or specialized experts like, structural engineers, geotech engineers with a postgraduate degree as very intermediate level design professionals and leaders, technical leaders.
So University of Canterbury offers a undergraduate degree at the bachelor's level with a specialization in civil. And what other specializations are available for undergraduate?
Yeah. Now, look, I think University of Canterbury has got Bachelor of Engineering with honors. That is the degree name. And within that, there are different majors, right? Civil engineering is one of the majors. So, Bachelor of Engineering with honors in civil engineering is the degree that you will get. But inside that, there are minors. So, when you do Bachelor of Engineering with honors in civil engineering, the first year, actually, out of the 4 years, is common to most engineering, right? And that's how it is in India, yeah, as well. So you do mostly foundation courses in physics, maths, chemistry, like introduction to engineering. There might be one or two odd courses, drawings, and one or two odd courses which channels you to civil engineering specialization or major in the following year, because only in year 2 you choose which way you want to go. And year 2, 3, and 4 are civil engineering courses. Whereas in year 1, all the foundation courses plus engineering mechanics, which leads you. And then when you have that undergraduate degree, and when you go to year 2, 3, and 4, you have got further minor opportunities. So you can have minor in structural engineering, water resource engineering, environmental engineering, geotech engineering, systems engineering. That's what we are establishing new minors as we are going into next year. Allows you to choose when you go to year 3 and year 4, especially year 4, there are all elective courses, right? So you can choose which electives you want to do based on the flavor that you want to give to your degree qualification in that's a degree.
Great. And what about masters? Now, you have here specialization. What sort of specializations are available for students who want to pursue a master's degree or even PhD? Sorry, what sort of areas is University of Canterbury doing research into? Then you can excel students are those.
Yeah, so good. I think I will talk about masters first, right? So masters, we offer 2 types of masters. Like one is research-based masters, which requires a research and thesis, right, which takes at least a year to 18 months, commonly in civil engineering, 18 months, right? So it is purely research-based, and they may be asked to do 1 or 2 courses if they haven't done previous courses on helping their research team. But the second type of master is the taught masters, which is typically 1 year full-time. So we have got 4 qualifications in the department. One is Master of Civil Engineering, Master of Architecture Engineering, Master of Fire Engineering, and then Master of Renewable Energy Engineering. So these 4. And the other 3, architecture, fire, and renewable energy, are specialized, whereas Master of Civil Engineering still is generic. Within that, you can specialize in different aspects, as I explained earlier. So there is that which we call endorsement. Okay, so you can have Master of Civil Engineering degree endorsed in earthquake engineering, endorsed in structures, geotech, or systems, water. And how do we decide that? Is actually, like we had a list of courses focusing on earthquake engineering, for example, and out of which you have to choose at least a certain number of your 8 courses. Total courses will have to be from that list. And then the remaining you can choose from any other courses, depending on your flavor.
You design your own course.
Yes. Yeah. And that's how the endorsement works. So it gives students a lot of flexibility. They have the opportunity to focus on the area that they are interested in. But at the same time, if they want to do 1 or 2 odd courses, that is their interest, outside interest, they still can do. Wonderful.
What about PhD?
Yeah. So in terms of research, as I explained, like how top level our researchers or our academic staff are, we thrive in research, and we want to obviously do top level and world leading cutting edge research. So that's what our students, our staff are very well recognized in and have expertise in. And we take PhD students who have already done master's degree. Typically, masters by research, if they have done from elsewhere, then they can get into PhD. Sometimes, occasionally, we get applications from students who have done master's degree, but these masters are by coursework, right? So, taught masters, which is not the preferred pathway, but we can definitely make an exception for those as well. And for Canterbury University graduates themselves, like if students go to Canterbury for undergraduate and then they finish that degree, get first class honors, they can directly get into PhD without doing a master's.
Correct. So that's a bachelor's of honors with a first.
Yeah, first class. So we don't have an equivalent foreign recognition. That's why probably applying from outside, you with a bachelor degree, you don't get into PhD directly. What we do is students get admitted to master's by research, and then within a year, looking at their grades and their proposals, the supervisor can make a case of upgrade to PhD. Okay, so that option does exist, but as you case to case, yeah. Okay, so normally, like we require a master's degree for international applicants.
Now, say be the bachelor's degree graduate, master's degree graduate, PhD, what are the job opportunities, particularly for students of the civil engineering department within Christchurch, Canterbury region, or within New Zealand? So you would know best because you from there. You have been working in New Zealand for all these years. Do you think that there are still job opportunities left for students of civil engineering discipline?
Before starting to answer that question, let me give a little bit of perspective. Like Christchurch, that's where University of Canterbury is. Many of you, if you recall, you might have heard about the big earthquakes that happened in Christchurch in 2010-11, and then 2016 there was another earthquake not too far from there in Kaikoura. So natural hazards and earthquake are a key part of New Zealand landscape setting. And that rebuilding from after that earthquakes, actually it's still going on. And that has created so much job for civil engineers, like be it in building design and construction or infrastructure, roads, like underground, horizontal infrastructures, construction management, transport. So the job has never been a problem for our graduates. Like I must give a perspective here is when I went and started working in University of Canterbury, I went from places in Japan and Singapore and even back in Nepal and Thailand where among the engineering disciplines, civil engineering has never been on the top of the demand in the market. They were always like third, fourth, in the list.
Everyone wants to become
Yeah, absolutely, right? So, but to my surprise, when I went to Canterbury, I realized that all the top engineering students wanted to do civil engineering. Civil was place to go, and the job market was so much high. I haven't seen across like last 20 plus years, I haven't come across our graduates, especially from undergraduate, the bachelor graduates who had not got a job maybe a couple of months after their graduation. Most of them get the job before they graduate. Obviously for masters, because when students have their undergraduate degree overseas, they are brought up and they have been educated in a different environment. So their personality difference and getting to know the New Zealand system makes it a little bit time-taking process. But for civil engineers in crisis, a booming market where the government, local and central government both have poured quite a bit of resources to infrastructure development and maintenance. Actually, the civil engineering market has never been better. Like there are always fluctuations slightly year to year. But in general, I think there has been no issues about employment. And in our curriculum, we build in naturally for the students to be involved in project-based learning where they interact with industry professionals. There are guest lectures from industry professionals who come and talk about the real-life projects that are going on. And there are site visits built into the curriculum. Even in the undergraduate, actually, they get into problem-solving, more of teamwork-related projects. And then there are research projects, there are design projects, field work. All these things will prepare them very well. And that is acknowledged by the job market in New Zealand. Christchurch is ranked number 2 employability in New Zealand.
And this recent, I think just this year, the government announced that they're going to invest some $9 billion into the New Zealand infrastructure projects. So do you think that will have some effect on the Christchurch and the local ecosystem as well? Like, where is most of that money pouring in?
I think it is distributed throughout the country, but Christchurch and South Island being one of the key parts in the government growth plan, actually a fair share of that will come to Christchurch. And not only the central investment, even the local councils actually are still working on getting a lot of their infrastructure, their assets modernized to meet with the expectation of the modern world. And after the crisis, when the rebuild happened, the structure of the city had changed. Now the city is developing into a very attractive modern type of city which meets the expectation not of the current generation, but probably alpha generations and future generations. So there's always a lot going on in the civil and infrastructure sector.
And how does a student studying at University of Canterbury make most use of all these opportunities that lie around that? Like mostly students are looking for part-time jobs or getting some sort of an internship
or getting their first job. So do you have any tips, any suggestions? Like, what are your insights on how students can get that first breakthrough?
Yeah, look, I think make the most of the opportunities to engage with the industry people when you are there as a student, because there will be opportunities where they will come and deliver lectures. There will be job fair organized in the university when you are a student. Every year there is a job fair where all these top consulting firms, they come and have their booths, they interact with the students. One thing that New Zealand employers do appreciate is not just actually how strong you appear on paper, but your personality, the outgoing, the honesty, communication skill is one of the most important things that they look into.
Ethics in character also.
Yeah, and that is like very important, but that is very difficult to evaluate in a short time. Like once you get into the job, to prosper through your position, to make a good career out of your job that you're going to receive, ethics and career and your teamwork ethics, how well you can interact with colleagues and how easy you are to work with, those characters will come very handy, right? But in order to get a job, in addition to good qualification, your outgoing nature, the communication, your vibe that you put. So in India and Nepal, that's where I come from, the hierarchy is quite strong, and it is students have grown up into a culture of, if I say something that I'm feeling, will I sound impolite? Will I be a little bit rude? So that sort of feeling curbs them or stops them from saying what they feel, right? Whereas New Zealand is the other way, right? Where as long as you don't cross the politeness boundary, you are not coming across as rude and direct, everybody welcomes you saying what you feel. Although that might not be in agreement with what the other professor or your employer is saying, they appreciate that. So that habit, obviously, through the course of time, like you'll be spending at least a year when you are doing postgraduate and any 3-4 years in undergraduate. So you will gradually learn by being there, interacting with people. So I think those skills are important. We have got in university some soft skill development workshops like lined up that could come handy. But otherwise, I think just being there, being mindful of what is going on, what are the opportunities. The university has some structured system to expose you to those environments through the job fair, career advisors as well for international students. I think there is support structure available, but ultimately it comes down to yourself. Remember that actually in University of Canterbury with civil engineering degree, you are in as good a place that you can be.
So that one aspect of it is covered, right?
Yeah.
What in your opinion is more important? Is it previous work experience? Does it weigh that much importance? Or it is all on your right skills and right attitude? So majorly for students, this is one dilemma that they face, that they might have the right skills and the right attitude and approach, like you mentioned, but sometimes they don't have local work experience in New Zealand. So how do you mitigate that? And what's more important? What the students focus on? And how do you get that thing in?
Look, I think one thing is a fact that everybody starts for the first time at some stage in their career. So if not having local experience is a big hurdle or that would stop people getting job, nobody would have job. So that can be a factor when you are looking for intermediate position, advanced position. But when you are starting a career, that's not enough. That's not a hindrance. There might be odd employers who might be that excuse, but it's not a big deal in my opinion. So the local experience is not a major issue, because unless like you are someone very mature, you have got several years of experience back home and you are going there to upgrade your already existing skill and wanting to get into intermediate level rather than the beginner level, then maybe that might be an issue. But someone trying to start their career like fresh from a qualification, that shouldn't be an issue. At that stage, it is your skill set, your personality, your soft skills. Of course, you will have a good qualification, but your other skills that you can bring in personally does help a lot.
So that will play a bigger role compared to whether you have a previous work experience. Definitely. And what sort of jobs, Dr. Rajesh, do you think that students usually opt for, or they should opt for once they freshly graduated out there? And is it considering it's their first job in New Zealand?
Look, I think I've got examples of students from India who have done master's degrees in Christchurch in University of Canterbury and then gone on to join a consulting company like the structural design consulting company and getting the residency in a year or two time. And then once you get the residency, they come back and do other studies if they want to, because then you are a local student. But they are now in a position where they recruit graduates. So for the students who go there now, you will find a lot like yours who came there 10 years ago and now in an intermediate to senior level positions involved in decision making about recruitment. And that gives a good advantage to students coming from similar background now, because these recruiters now do understand you better than probably somebody who has grown up all their life in New Zealand, because it is a different upbringing for them and it will be difficult for them to understand between the lines based on how you appear to them. So it is in terms of employment, the range of employment, as I mentioned, you could go to consulting company. Majority of our graduates go there. A good proportion also go to local and central government, like the TT councils, regional councils, district councils, and even the government, like the departments. So that is one sector. There is a pathway to the contractors. There is another job. And then there are, depending on actually what your specialization is, if you specialize in your master's qualification in printing, you could be hired as a specialist in different areas, not as a civil engineer, but as a transport engineer, structure engineer, a building engineer, right? Because, so it's things like that. So there are different options. And in terms of the careers, like the range of things is, you could be, involved in infrastructure development, maintenance of the horizontal infrastructure and vertical infrastructure, like and new construction and earthquake assessment of buildings and retrofitting or strengthening of buildings, transport planning and renewable energy specialist advisors, because we have got degrees in that as well. So there is a range of things.
Again, like most of these occupations that you mentioned, they're all on the green list, so which government acknowledged that these are the occupations that are in demand and they need people with the right skills, right qualification in these jobs. So in terms of job opportunities, there are plenty of civil engineering related occupations that like you say are in demand, and obviously like studying at a university like the University of Canterbury, I think it gives you the right platform to this. It probably helps you save a couple of steps. Yeah. And it just helps you skip those 1 tier of stairs and move on to the next. So that is one advantage that obviously studying at University of Canterbury offers. Now, is there anything in particular that University of Canterbury does for international students, or like you mentioned that there are job fairs and other fairs? So what sort of other support is available for international students?
So I think like the support mechanism that exists in the university, if you just look at the university website, you will see a dedicated channel of website for international students. And there are international advisors who advise international potential students and current students also on different aspects. Like there are academic advices to be given, and there are even personal advisors setting up. So that structure does exist. But if you get one step down into faculty level, the student career advisors, the student academic advisors, they all are there and for discipline specific. And in the department, what we do is actually, because, for example, in civil department, we have got 7 support staff, we call administrative staff, and they have different portfolios. And there are staff with portfolios for taught masters in the postgraduate studies, and they are there, and most of our taught masters and postgraduate studies students are international students. So they are very well experienced and well versed in understanding the aspects or issues that are typical with our international students, like the homesickness they miss. They're in an alien environment, new environment where they don't have access to a lot of information. And where we have got handouts, guidelines, structure, and with all the key information. We organize regularly a welcome program, orientation program, especially for international students, so that they feel homely, they feel at home, and they understand who are the key people that they will be dealing with in their studies. If they have a problem related to this, who to go. If they have a problem related to this, who to go. So these are all things are in the. But one of the most important things that I believe is actually the peer support. Canterbury is a place where many international students are there. And you will definitely find someone like you who have been there a few months ago or a year ago. Right? And that you will be surrounded by international students. You look at the faculty distribution is like only about 1/3 of the faculty are New Zealanders. Okay. So it's pure international like faculty landscape, but very diverse. So you'll not find isolated. You'll find many like you, okay, who are international, who have come to the new environment, and you naturally would end up going and talking to them and then asking, hey, what their experience was. So there are structured ways that we can help, and we had done that, but the peer support, the value of peer support that you get cannot be undermined.
Right. That's very important, Doctor. That's quite a valid point because students only go to a new country, sometimes feel homesick and they start saying you won't get the right sort of emotional and mental support. It doesn't. You don't feel like studying as well, and then if there's no studies, that affects your, effectiveness and mental well-being, and then you cannot focus on your studies, and your results end up being not as good as what you are capable of. So we understand, look, because I think we are very empathetic. We provide support, counseling, as much as we can, as much as a good institute is expected to do. Like we do that. But ultimately, it comes down to the personality of the student. Like you said, like having peers around, from different backgrounds, different nationality, and different years of experience. Some are young, some are very old. So everyone lives together as a knit community and, helping each other out. That really helps the student be at home.
Yeah, I agree. And in civil engineering, our postgraduate portfolio, if we look at our postgraduate students population, I would say 3/4 of them easily are international. So you will see a lot like yourself.
Wonderful. So I think this has been very interesting and intriguing for myself, and I'm sure for our viewers as well. So one last question for you is that, if any student is interested in studying at the University of Canterbury, what is one thing that you would recommend or one tip from your side that would actually make their application successful, like make their overall experience better? Because obviously admissions, using the right course, applying for scholarships, deadlines, student visa applications, it's all a very complicated thing for many students, and students at times get very overwhelmed. So is there any tip or any insights that you'd like to provide on making this process relatively easier and smoother for the students?
No, I think one thing is the students sometimes get overwhelmed to contact the university directly and get all these information. So having a reliable partner to work with in their local market, like yourself, like you're doing great job, you're working with us for so many years. And you understand the process, like our requirements so well. So we have confidence that actually you as a partner, like you can provide honest information to the students and communicate all the timelines, the documents that are needed, the expectations. So the students get authentic information that helps us streamline the process a lot. But choosing the proper courses, proper qualification, there might be some role that the university can play, but generic information all we pass on to our partners as well. So we can help that. And those things, the fine-tuning the exact courses within the program can be decided even after being there. So as long as you know that actually that is the line of study that you are engaged in, qualification. But endorsements, yes, exactly. That is at a later stage. Like you might be thinking one endorsement being in India and then which actually might not align with the best job opportunity in New Zealand. Then you go there, you realize we can change the courses within the civil engineering, Master of Civil Engineering. That flexibility is there. So you don't need to lock in everything.
There are plenty of scholarships.
And there are scholarships. The Dean's Award is the main scholarship at the moment for taught masters. But for research qualification, postgraduate, there are other scholarships. And for undergraduate, there are other scholarships for international students. So those obviously are competitive, but the Dean's Award, actually, once you satisfy a certain criteria, which is not very difficult to satisfy, you will get the Dean's Award straight on. And that helps you to manage some of your financial burden. And the good thing about Canterbury is if you have done more years of undergraduate civil engineering in India and your grades are high enough, then you can get directly into 12 months masters. Actually, although we call 12 months master, actual time you'll be spending there for study is only 9 to 10 months. So because the semesters start in February and finish in November. And after that, you get 3 years of the post-study stay visa. So even if it takes you a couple of months to find the actual job fitting your qualification, you don't have to worry about legal eligibility to stay. So getting a world-class qualification taught by world-leading academics in the field, top 2%, and in such a short time, a recognized qualification that is highly regarded by the local employers. So it is win-win. So go for it. If you are contemplating, what I can assure is actually you will be even the best experience in terms of learning. Top class education will be available for you and from the best people in the world. You'll be well looked after, and obviously a lot of other things. And you have got opportunity, natural exposure to the local job market through different means. And there are jobs available in the market. Job has never been a major issue, but it might take a little bit of time depending on actually when you graduate and when the jobs open.
So that's it. You heard it from the best professor in New Zealand for civil engineering. And again, the best university for civil engineering is University of Canterbury. So if you're planning to study civil engineering related programs at University of Canterbury, do get in touch with the best New Zealand education consultants. That's New Zealand Gateway. Our contact details will be provided down below. We will be guiding you through the admission process, through the scholarships, visa application process. And I, as a licensed education advisor, can also help you with your dependent visas and spouse visas applications, post-study work visa applications, and even for your residence visa applications. Once you have the job, you can get in touch with us, and we'll be happy to support you through the entire journey of right from choosing which course to study or which university to study at till you get your residence visa in New Zealand. New Zealand Gateway is always there. So thank you so much. Thank you, Professor, for having us today. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and your insights have been very enlightening for me and for the viewers as well. So thank you very much for racing us.
Thank you very much for having me. The pleasure is mine. And thank you very much to the audience for listening. And I look forward to see some of you at University of Canterbury at some stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.